Have you heard the news about Charles Bronson's situation? The unstoppable force of Hollywood, Charles Bronson, was more than simply the rugged hero on screen. The true story of one contentious myth that has followed Bronson around since the beginning has been kept a secret for a long time. Before we dive, keep watching as we unearth this legend's truth. It's critical to comprehend Charles Bronson's personal development in light of these revelations. Charles's early life experiences had a significant impact on his destiny. Charlie Bronson's journey from the coal mining region of Pennsylvania to the glitz and glamour of Hollywood is an amazing story of a guy who never gave up. On November 3, 1921, Charles Bronson was born in Ehrenfeld, Pennsylvania, a coal mining region. His early years were spent in a linguistic and cultural mingling of Russian and Lithuanian, as his family was Roman Catholic and of Lithuanian descent. After Bronson's father died of cancer in 1933, he was forced to leave school and work in the coal mines to support his family. Bronson endured harsh working conditions in the mines, earning $1 for each ton of coal produced and having to deal with new dangers every day, such as cave-ins and other mining accidents. Things got worse during the Great Depression, and families experienced terrible poverty. Because his mother could not afford milk, she would often feed Bronson's younger sister steaming tea instead of food. In spite of these obstacles, Bronson persevered. In 1943, he became the first member of his family to graduate from high school and enlist in the U.S. Army Air Forces. As a top turret gunner on a Boeing B-29 Superfortress, Bronson bombed and strafed the Japanese mainland during World War II. He performed 25 missions against Japan and was given a Purple Heart for his actions. This bleak time in Bronson's life as a young man, years after he was declared missing in action, reveals the narrative of a man who would go on to become a mechanized monster of cool in Hollywood, but beneath this muscular physique was a man who had seen hardship, poverty, and the battle to eat one meal a day. Bronson moved to Atlantic City after the war, not looking for a job, and began renting out beach chairs and umbrellas close to the boardwalk. In 1949, he realized that he preferred acting to painting, and at the age of 27, he relocated to California to pursue acting training. After getting married to 18-year-old actress Harriet Turner, he quickly found modest film parts as tough characters in shows like Scrappy Fighters and Builders. In part because of Senator Joseph McCarthy's campaign of fear of communism at the time, Bronson formally changed his name to Charles Bronson in 1954 after acting with Alan Ladd in the movie Drum Beat. Despite being well known, he wasn't always the lead in expensive movies. One of his earliest productions was Machine Gun Kelly, a low-budget film that was shot in just 8 days in 1958. Renowned French actor Alain Delon saw this movie and invited him to France to star in another movie, Adult Lie, which went on to become a great smash throughout Europe. Renowned actor Charles Bronson and Harriet Turner had a failed marriage that ended in divorce in 1965. He was well known for his aggressiveness and vigor in his roles and wed Ireland in 1968. His craggy visage frequently conveyed tales of hardship and brutality during his formative years. He got into a lot of trouble. He even broke the arm of a sergeant during a fight and threatened others. In 1987, when Hardman wanted a new name for Britain's most infamous prisoner, Michael Gordon Peterson, he went with Charles Bronson. Off-screen, Bronson was known for his harsh exterior, which conveyed tales of hardship and brutality from his early years. He got into a lot of trouble. He even broke the arm of a sergeant during a fight and threatened others. In 1987, when Hardman wanted a new name for Britain's most infamous prisoner, Michael Gordon Peterson, he went with Charles Bronson. Without sugarcoating his reaction, Bronson said he could have been friendlier to the press and didn't really care for movie critics. He got into an argument with director Nicholas Gardner, with whom he had worked, and publicly chastised him for his aggressive off-screen antics. The editing of the Ireland sequences caused friction at first, but Hill and Bronson eventually got along, which brought out the erratic nature of Bronson. He was hesitant to allow his character to pass away on film because he thought his Italian followers would be disappointed. Michael Winter, the director, felt that Bronson was ideal for the part of Paul Kyrie in the critically acclaimed 1974 box office hit Death Wish. Renowned film director Charles Bronson gained notoriety for his portrayal of Paul Ky in the best-selling novel Death Wish. Michael Walker, the director, could have been kinder to Brian Garfield, the author of the novel, but he had other plans. Contrary to what Garfield said, Bronson's book was a fairy tale about a man who kills people without any remorse. The Death Wish movies, which featured violent movies and movie theaters, ended without causing any problem. After pursuing 4 young black guys in a New York train in 1984, Bernhard Goetz gained notoriety as the subway vigilante thanks to the media. At a rally in 2015, Donald Trump made reference to his death wish. He even asserted that it was politically incorrect to make the request in the modern day. Following the success of the Death Wish movies, Bronson took a break from acting with Death Wish 6, The Face of Death in 1994. However, he went on to play the powerful silent type in a string of TV films called Family of Cops. As he rose in prominence within the industry, this reflected his real-life persona. Bronson enjoyed bragging about his upbringing and experiences, oftentimes embellishing vivid and amazing tales of his exploits. Those who knew him well said he was not quite as aggressive as the characters he played, and he never ended himself in jail. Apart from his unusual behavior, Bronson refused to shake hands. Some people thought this was because he was too proud to accept a handshake. Apart from his unusual behavior, Bronson refused to shake hands. Some people thought this was because he was too proud to accept a handshake. It might have been assumed that Kala was conceited because he was a verified germaphobe and had always tended to stay out of the way of germs and contagion. When Bronson was filming Death Wish in 1974, he developed an unreasonable phobia of fire. To ensure that he and his crew could evacuate the set in the case of a fire, Nichols insisted on staying in motels with no more than 2 stories. In order to preserve his work apart from his notoriety, he adored painting and sculpture and chose to talk about it in interviews rather than his acting career. In his touching tale Merit, Bronson and Kurt Russell pleasantly surprised one another with a state-of-the-art skateboard and a remote-controlled aircraft. They rediscovered love in spite of the sadness when they partnered with Kim Michelle Weeks, a younger actress who supported him till his passing. Bronson's early acting retirement was justified by his health issues, which included the onset of heart disease and his recuperation following hip replacement surgery. He died on August 30, 2003, at the age of 81, from Alzheimer's disease-related pneumonia during his later years. Zuleika, Tony, Suzanne, and Katrina Holden Bronson were among the children he had. However, he subsequently discovered that Katrina was actually her parents' adoptive kid. So viewers, for the next update please subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.